Now it is time for Give Me the Headlines presented by Hyundai. And this one was the craziest game of a crazy Super Wildcard weekend. The Jaguars come back from 27 down to beat the Chargers 31-30. The final score. Your headline for this game is...
Writing receipts that your ass can't cash. Yes, that doesn't make sense, but it does.
Well, we saw their social media tweet.
Right.
It was all the receipts they had. On
all those
people
receipts.
saying they're done. Chargers are not very good. And which, by the way, half those takes in that video
were when they were not very good.
And I was like, they might still be true. They might not be able to get it done in the playoffs, which it was true. It turned out to be true. They cannot cash those receipts.
No, they cannot.
As you put it. Third biggest comeback in NFL playoff history. And I did think this as it was developing. I go, the best time to fall down by 27 points is the first quarter. The second best time is the second quarter. So if you are going to fall down big, you want to do that early, as opposed to Seattle, who did it late and in their game. So the Jaguars did have some time, although it appeared like it didn't matter because they were not going to have answers for this Chargers defense that you think came out with a pretty good game plan against the Jaguars.
Definitely. It's hard for me not to think that the Chargers were all over the Jaguars stuff early on in the football game. They obviously found some tendencies and some rules that they could hardline teach their guys in the secondary going like, hey, if there's three receivers to the right and the second receiver breaks inside, the third receiver is going to break inside too. That's what I mean by route reading. That's what teams are being taught, even in man coverage, same type of thing. And I got that, feeling from a few plays where I went, damn, the Chargers guy broke on that route before the Jaguars guy even made the break, right? Think about, I think it was the fourth interception, but it was the Asante Samuel. He cut off the in-cut kind of down the middle. I mean, he broke before the receiver did. Mm-hmm. See, those are things that start to tell me like, oh, they got to beat. Like Staley's taught them if this guy goes there, this guy's going to go there, right? And they certainly were all over it. But the second half, there was obviously some adjustments, and I think they started to get a feel for like, wait, they're jumping these type of things, so let's start to do this and that. I don't even know where to begin here. I think that where to begin is with the quarterback. Just like we talked about with Daniel Jones. I mean, you throw 4 interceptions, 5 first-half turnovers, and you just kind of hang in there and don't blink and don't, falter more, crumble. That's where Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson's ability to make Trevor feel confident was very special.
Late in the first half,
right.
Trevor Lawrence had thrown 4 interceptions. He had completed 4 passes to his own team. He was 4 for 16.
Right.
So it wasn't even just those interceptions. It was like he was off
nothing.
The mark. There was nothing.
Right.
It was just like, like you mentioned, they were all over everything. Right. You met with Trevor Lawrence a couple, what was it, a day before the game?
Thursday.
2 days before the game.
Yeah, right. The gift and the curse.
Yeah, right. Were you feeling like, this is going to come back on me here?
Everybody,
I high-fived him.
Everybody was texting me in our company, of course, yes, including my boss. Like, oh, great, you jinxed Trevor. Oh, too many daps, too many this, too many that.
What struck you about meeting him, though, that maybe you didn't think previously? We learned something watching this game. He didn't get down after those 4 interceptions.
Right.
Was there anything in the interview where you're like, okay, this is interesting?
He's used to be Mr. Just don't let anything bother me.
Yeah.
And he's started to listen and use it as motivation.
Interesting.
Right. He's learned to, he understands what's being said about him, and he uses it to give himself a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Right. And that was cool, I thought. Where he's kind of embraced it. He also embraced the magnitude of the playoffs. That's why I wasn't when he started to kind of mount the comeback, I went, because he made it very aware that he was, hey, numbers, they can be overrated. They don't tell the story, but I do pay attention to them and what other quarterbacks are doing because I want to be thought of as the best, and I see what they do, and I want to be up there with them. So, there's a drive for a guy that's cool and calm and always has a smile on his face and doesn't ever seem to get pissed or yell at anybody, right? But there is a drive to be great from the guy that is apparent. And he just couldn't be a nicer guy, and just a way about him of Yeah, you believe in him because you could tell he believes in himself.
And a thick, long neck, which I'm glad you started the interview
like that?
off. Just
good, good.
Yeah.
Right on.
Let's
right
just
into
talk
it.
about your neck.
Break the ice a little bit. Yeah, but that was one. Let's go through it a little bit. The first interception, not his fault. Right guard doesn't make the block. It's an RPO. Sebastian Joseph Day does a great job getting his hand up. All right, interception. Second interception. It's a 4th down. Right. They run what we would call a 7-stop, a reverse curl route, whatever. It's pass interference in Asante Samuel. It's pass interference 1,000 out of 1,000 times all regular season in the first half of a football game. Not called, which was an issue with me throughout this weekend. We saw no pass interference called, where I want to go, this is called every time in every game during the regular season. All of a sudden, it doesn't matter anymore, which is annoying to me. So that was a bad one. And then I'm trying to think of the third one. I'm blanking on the third one. The third one was the shallow cross to Evan Ingram, right? He's throwing the crossing route. Asante Samuel gets it, playing Tampa 2, playing the Tampa 2 corner.
Yeah.
There's rules there. One, Evan Ingram, usually in a shallow cross, you see zone, you have to sit down by the backside tackle. He didn't sit down. He kept running. But that doesn't matter. Quarterback's got to see the throws. You can't just trust. And Trevor Lawrence has played enough football to drop back and go, oh, that's Tampa 2. Like, he shouldn't continue to run, and then I shouldn't throw the ball, right? And then there was the in-cut we just talked about where Asante Samuel jumped all over it. So there was a little bit of bad play by Trevor, a little unlucky, good defensive game planning by the Chargers, right? Then they dropped the punt. All right, and to me, this is one of the marquee moments of the game. After one interception, they made the Chargers settle for a field goal as they got inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
And then after the block punt, or drop punt, 24-0, they got a chance if they score a touchdown to go up 31, right? And to me, I mean, that even looks different than 27.
Sure.
And they held them to a field goal and then put the drive together late in the first half that I think was kind of the jump-off point. Okay, wait, we're settled in. I got a little confidence. Doug Peterson did a great job on that drive, throwing some short passes, some swing passes, let him see the ball go in the basket a few times. Okay, I feel pretty good. And then Trevor came out in the second half firing.
So those 4 touchdowns, one of them, I think the deep one,
The Zay Jones
39-yard. That was when we were like, okay.
That's when you started to believe, right? That was when you went,
yes.
They might be able to come back here.
Because they're down 10 at the end of the third quarter,
Right.
where I think it was hard to get out of your mind that they were at one time down 27, because any team down 10 entering the fourth quarter, you would never think like, oh, they're out of it. You'd be
Right.
like, oh, they're within
Right.
2 scores
Right.
here. They're definitely in this game. Was there anything specifically? I know you looked at that play a little bit. You mentioned the adjustments that Doug
Right.
Peterson may have made.
Right.
Was there anything specific about that play?
It's interesting. So if you'll see this play and you're watching here on YouTube, on the right, they're playing cover 2. On the left, they're kind of playing a quarters coverage, right? Asante Samuel, number 26 on the left of your screen here, he takes Evan Ingram, who's running the little out route, right, which he's supposed to do. He's right here. Now, Derwin James, right, he is looking across the field and looking at the number 3 receiver, which is Christian Kirk. And I think his rule is to take that guy if he crosses, right? But this is where coaching adjustment, game planning, oh, wait, I got to play for that can screw this over, comes in very handy. So what they did was they sent him over there and sat Christian Kirk right in front of Derwin James. Now he takes the cheese, and now Zay Jones goes behind him. Now, I don't know exactly how this is supposed to be played. I don't know if Derwin James, this is a great play, and it's stressful to this coverage no matter what. I mean, this is a good way to attack the quarters on the backside of this coverage and stress out its rules. I don't know if they want Derwin James here to see Zay Jones and go back and then have 49, who's underneath, go, hey, wait, you take Christian Kirk, right? You see 49 there, right? Or maybe his rules were like, hey, you're supposed to jump number 3 if he comes across the formation, which then would mean they just have the perfect play for this defense and there's no way you can stop it. So either way, Derwin James is kind of the jump-off point there. I don't know if he's right or wrong or whatever there. It's hard to tell, and there's different rules within that stuff. But to me, that was a moment too, because I went, the quickness of the score, and you went, whoa, it's only 10 points here. and now it's 2 scores, and they got a chance to win this football game. And then it was the subsequent drive where the Chargers went down and missed a field goal, right? And then you went,
didn't go for 4th and 3.
Didn't go for 4th and 3.
Brandon Staley got broken. Everyone broke him, and now he's like, I can't go for 4th down anymore.
I know he's probably second guessing himself
on 3rd, 4th, 5th guessing himself. And on that play too, noticing you need some time to be able to throw deep, and the offensive line for the Jaguars doing a good job there. Khalil Mack was out there. Joey Bosa was out there.
Second half, they were really good.
Walker Little, I think Pete sent us a group text on a tweet that showed how he
him
handled
dominating Khalil Mack,
especially on that last drive.
Right.
So good job by the offensive line there. I got a tweet that you're going to like here.
Yeah.
It comes from Mr. Jet 2010.
Right.
He goes, wonder if Trevor was on the Jets, if he would have been pulled at the half. Good job by Peterson to stick with his young quarterback.
Well, we have 2 examples of stick with your young quarterback here in the show. Daniel Jones, right? I mean, we could have easily gave up on him if we wanted the Jets attitude, or if we listened to the fan base of the Giants after 2 years, because there was a lot of fans. Morgan will tell you, she's a Giant. Oh, this Daniel Jones, he doesn't got it. Forget it. Let's move on, right? So, yes, they've built Trevor Lawrence to this. And, of course, he went through his struggles early in the year, and he survived it and fought through it and then started to carry the freaking team and do special things. And, of course, you hang in there. But that's a very funny, witty question there. And it just kind of the culture down there right now. It is a belief. They're young. They are figuring out how to win. He talked about that with me. Doug Peterson, of course, his ability there. And then, hey, the game settled in, and they finally got to play the game they wanted to play a little bit. It was hard early on. It's hard. You can't get a drive going. We can't get completions. We keep getting a little unlucky with turnovers and not do a dumb thing, whatever else, to where they never got in a rhythm. But, again, that's where I go back to that drive at the end of the first half where I think that was big. And then in the second half, come on, let's talk about it. It's the team that was down 27-0 ran the ball more than the team that was up 27-0.
So Pete counted the plays.
Yeah.
Once it was 27-0,
right.
Chargers called 25 pass plays, 8 run plays.
Right. So I texted Pete in the fourth quarter, and Matt Casey, and I was like, see, this is where people don't realize run game's important. Because, again, I know the Chargers were staying on the field to a degree, and the drives weren't all 3 and out. But where people are missing is, how many first and second down passes that were incomplete in the second half where you go, man, if that was just a screen or a swing pass or a run, hey, we still don't get yards, but the clock still runs, right? And that was the big thing. And that's because they couldn't depend on their run. And that's where you do need a run game, and that's when you do want to power running back a little bit, maybe somebody different than Austin Eckler in that situation. But that's where they drop the ball, and then of course the Jaguars, who they're up against it, they start to take a few calculated risks and let's run this coverage here on 1st and 10, and it threw the Chargers off kilter. But there were the Jaguars, who did a great job of being consistent and patient on the offensive side of the ball. They let their run game continue to go in the second half, and they let their offensive line kind of wear on the Chargers D-line. They started to break a few 8-yard run, 9-yard run, 8-yard run. The passer started to whittle away as the game went away. And I think that was all effect of the size of the Jaguars and Doug Peterson staying patient with the run in the second half, too. That made Bosa and Mack are like, shit, we're tired. And you guys are fucking big at tackles here in Jacksonville, so we're really tired. And then, of course, Bosa lost his cool, which didn't help the situation out a little bit as well.
No, it did not. No. And you mentioned Doug Peterson there, too. He's so easy to root for, I think. It's just like seeing him, and I'm a guy who likes to take chances. I'm more on the let's be aggressive approach. And he did that with 5:30 to go. He goes for 2 to make it a 2-point game, which I loved, because I think the idea of, I've been saying this for a little bit now. It's just like the idea of playing for overtime is like playing to lose half the time.
Yes.
Like you're not going to – I think there was this thought kind of like, oh, you've extended the game. It's like, well, you've also extended the time the other team can win too. So if you have a play that you like that you think is going to work more than 50% of the time, you should try to go for it.
Yeah.
So they did, and they got the 2. They still needed to get the 4th and 1.
Right. Big time call there.
They
Gutsy.
called timeout.
Right.
I guess Trevor Lawrence says that Doug Peterson, they had a play, didn't like what he saw.
Just get it right. You're going for the win right there. So what are you saving the timeouts for? Like, you're going for it there. I know when they called the timeout, I was like, because you wanted them to have 3 timeouts because you go, well, if they don't get it here, then they still got a chance to get the ball back.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got to balance out and go, wait, do we want to win the game right here? Or are we going to play like, oh, maybe we'll give ourselves one more chance in case we f*** the game up right here.
Yeah.
Right? And he did the right thing. Wait, let's get on the sideline. Let's get the play we really want. Let's talk about it, hash out some of the details. And what a gutsy, cool play call.
The play was awesome.
Right. Lined up to make it look like you might be doing the quarterback sneak or something, or fullback dive, right? It looked like it was going to be that. We
Just
already saw
Trevor
do the QB sneak already, right?
Yep.
But like if you see here again with our next gen stats and our dots here, there's so many people inside the tackle box. I mean, there's like 5 defensive linemen inside the tackles, right? And then just do a great job of like blocking down. Zay Jones cracks down.
So Zay Jones, it looked like it. I showed you this before.
I hear you. Yeah.
It looked close to a hole.
It was close. It was close. You're right. It was a little hookage of the arm. I don't think it really mattered. He made the contact. Alohi Gilman was not going to make the play. I'm glad they did not call it.
I agree.
But I understand what you're talking about for sure.
Asante Samuel, great game. But
yes.
In this, does he have outside contain?
He does, but this is where it's hard, okay? And we've discussed this a little bit too. You're playing man coverage, but you're responsible for a run gap, right? Mm-hmm. So the guy you're covering takes a step inside. Okay, well, if he does continue to take a route, the coach is going to go, well, what the fuck? Why didn't you run with him and cover him, right?
So who does he have?
He's got Zay Jones.
Yes.
So he follows Zay Jones down because he's, hey, wait, maybe he's going to work his way through and they're going to run some play action pass. He's going to run a crosser.
Fake
right?
block, here he goes.
Right, and there he goes across, and I'm stuck running through trash. So he's worried about that.
That's a good call.
Right? So now, but that's the problem when you play man in those kind of run situations because now, wait, I covered my guy man, but damn, coach told me I do have the outside gap, which he is there for the outside gap, but it's just too late, and there's a guy that runs, 4-4 running around the edge.
All good for the Jacksonville Jaguars, except for the 4 interceptions and falling down 27-0, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But the last thing we'll say about this game is the Chargers here. I mean, it's the first time we've ever seen in NFL playoff history a team that was -5 in the turnover margin win a game. That's incredible.
It's incredible.
-5. They lost it by 5.
Yeah.
We got a couple tweets. Young and Wise 83. Hey, Chris, do you think Staley gets fired? And Bob Gorman says Staley has to go. Herbert's career is being wasted. You need to only look at Tua and Trevor's vast improvement in 1 year with a great offensive-minded quarterback coach. Herbert needs his McDaniel or Peterson to save his career.
Yeah, this is going to be quite the combo. It is.
What do you mean?
Well, they were on the doorstep of making the playoffs last year. Mm-hmm. Well, they make it this year. They dealt with a bunch of injuries and fought through a lot of adversity, right? Mm-hmm. And again, I think a lot of people were sitting there going, well, the Chargers can make a run here in the playoffs, right? Stinks the way they blew the game. And if you listen to anybody that knows anything in the NFL, Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh's number 1 choice is to go to the Chargers. And that's kind of what anybody thinks in the NFL, right? That's where they'd like to go. And they're not going to let that be known, of course, because there's a coach there that they're all, going behind their back, politicking for this job, which isn't cool, but so is, and that's the business we're in here, right? I want to say you don't fire him. I don't think I would fire him. I feel like he's going to get fired, though. I don't know. It's just the stigma around the situation.
You like some of the things he's done,
the Mike Williams injury. Oh. I do like some of the scheme-wise, some of the things he does.
Thought he made it hard on the Dolphins,
the
right?
defense, he does some creative things. I mean, he made it hard on the Jaguars. I mean, he does some things that schematically outside the box thinking that are smart, and you go, oh, wow, that's really good. But I think that, for whatever reason, some of the injury stuff's being put on him, which is not fair. Mm-hmm. Then what you're talking about, the offense, it's not crazy explosive, right? And that's kind of like an issue there, which I want to go, that's not necessarily Brandon Staley. To me, it's more of a Joe Lombardi issue. He needs to be more creative on that side of the ball. And then just the going forward on 4th down last year and then losing a game this way. Whew, I don't know where this is going to go. I really don't. It's a weird one. I want to say it's crazy to think about firing Brandon Staley. That's what I want to say. And I certainly would have said that even if they lost the game just in a normal fashion. But 27-0, I do feel like puts a little bit added pressure on the situation, but added pressure on the Spanos family who owns the Chargers.
Yeah.
And they have a bright, shiny object that every coach wants to coach right now. Justin Herbert. He's definitely a top 5 quarterback in football. And so everybody's looking at that job going, wait, is that going to come open? Because I'd like to go there. They got all the key pieces to kind of be good, and then I just got to fill in a few places here and there. And, whoa, we can, be a player in the AFC for a while. I don't know. What do you think? What's your thought? Like, what's your gut?
I don't know. I think it would have to do all with the relationship that he has with the ownership there.
Yeah,
I know. I think if it's a good relationship and they believe in him, there's no reason.
What
to
about, like, do you think he deserves
not give him one
to
more
be
year.
fired or not? Like, it's just, right?
I
It's
don't
hard
think
to.
so.
I don't think so
they
either.
had injuries on the offensive line. Joey
Yeah.
Bosa missed a lot of time.
Right.
I don't know. I think he's been pretty good for a franchise that's always kind of been right here at this level. I don't know.
I know.
Like, maybe, I guess, if you can get Sean Payton. But what do you got to give up to get Sean Payton?
Yeah, they're going to have to give up a first-round pick.
Yeah, is that
I would
worth
think.
it?
Something like that. Pay him a ton of money, which is, of course, another thing that the Spanos family's not famous for doing.
Yeah.
And then having to
Staley?
pay Brandon Staley when he's fired.
He doesn't strike me as like I don't know. He doesn't instill a whole lot of confidence when you just see him walking on the sideline, but that's just looks. I have no idea.
Yeah, no, I hear you. He's not, it's not your maybe tough macho. It definitely doesn't have the Dan Campbell look where you're like, it's a little bit more of a nerdy, calculated look. Like, hey, this guy's smart.
You don't look at him and go, he's definitely got things under control. There's a little element of like, all right, things might be falling apart, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's where the Joey Bosa's helmet coming off. Those are fair questions too.
Yeah.
I think it's very much on the fence here. It really is, and I don't know. If you made me bet, I'd bet he's going to get fired.
Well, maybe he should because they were my Super Bowl pick, and he's embarrassed me now.
Right.
He's
Good.
embarrassed me.
Good.
They have been eliminated. I will not be right on the Super Bowl winner this year, and that is Give Me the Headlines, presented by Hyundai.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.